Welcome to Math with Mr. Antoine. I am Mr. Antoine, and we're going to talk today about exponents, the basic ideas about exponents. I also put down and bases because, since exponents is the real deal, bases get left out, so I thought we can make it special. So let's talk about it. We have an expression here which is 2 to the fourth power. Okay, now 2 to the fourth power over here, just want you to know that this little 4 is your exponent. All right, and the 2 over here is the base. Okay, again, making that base feel special. So 2 is the little number, that's the exponent, and 4 is the exponent, the small number, while 2, the big number that's here, is the base. Now, what does this expression mean? When you have 2 to the fourth power, what that means is that you will take the base, which is 2, and you will repeat that base. You will multiply it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. This is called repeated multiplication. So I took the 2, which is the base, and now I made that base. I repeated it, multiplying it 4 times. Now when I find the answer, or evaluate to find the answer, that means I would now have, I'm just going to rewrite it again, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That will now become 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. I bring the next 2, multiply it to the next 2, right? That means it would be 4 times 2, which is 8. Now I take that and multiply it to this last 2 over here. So now it's going to be 8 times 2. And that now is going to be equal to 16. So now what I will get from my answer when I evaluate is that 2 to the fourth power, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that will now be equal to 16. Okay? So that's pretty much the idea with exponents. Now let's just get the basic definitions of what each is called. When you have it written in this form, of 2 to the fourth power, this is now written in exponential form. Okay, this is an exponential form when you find it written with the base and the exponent. When you now have it written in the form where you now have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's called the expanded form. Right, so now we've expanded it. So that's the expanded form. Now, when you now actually do the work to find out what the answer is, to find out what's when you do the mathematics of it for that expression, and we found out it was 16, this is now writing it. We are evaluating. So we evaluate, right, to find the answer. And if you take a look in evaluate, the word value is inside there. So we're finding what the value is. And then finally, this is sometimes you could evaluate it, or it may be called the standard form. Okay. That's the basic understanding of exponents. All right, to understand you have the exponent and the base. Again, when you have it in exponential form. Then from that, you could translate it into expanded form, and then from that you will evaluate it, which will become the standard form. All right, so you have an understanding of how to go about this. A lot of times when you have examples, they ask you to write it in exponential form or expanded form or standard form. Okay, now let me now show you an example of what we do when we actually do some multiplication and with the exponents. Let's say I have 2 to the third power, 2 over 3, which is a fraction, 2 over 3, and I'm going to put that now to the third power. Now, the reason why I put the parentheses around the whole fraction is because if I put it like this, and I'm just going to put it down here, if I put 2 over 3 and I say to the third power, that looks like it's only talking about the numerator 2, and I'm only putting that 2, the 2 is to the third power, not the 3. So because I want to say it's the whole thing, I put parentheses around the whole fraction in order for me to do that. Okay? So now, for this one, and we're evaluating with fractions now. Okay, let me just get this out the way. All right? This is going to now be, remember, the base is 2 over 3. So that means I'm going to take that base and I'm going to make it happen 3 times. I'm going to multiply it to 3 times. So that'll be 2/3 times another 2/3 times another 2/3. Okay? I use the dot. You can also use the multiplication symbol, but that's just being used for it. So now it's going to be 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. That's in expanded form. When I write this now in standard form, when I evaluate it, what you're doing is you multiply the numerators, which would be 2 times 2 times 2. And remember, we did 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 will give me 8 in my numerator. For my denominator, I'm going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. And 9 times 3 is 27. Right? So when you evaluate and when you write it in standard form, the standard form will be 8 over 27. Okay? That will be the answer when you evaluate it. Another one I want to show you is when you have negative. All right? So let's say if I have negative 2. I'm keeping it simple. But negative 2. Now, let's make negative 2 to the 3rd power. Okay? Now, I'll keep the negative 2 inside the parentheses for a reason, and I'm going to explain that at a later time. But right now, it's negative 2 is to the 3rd power. What that means is my base is negative 2. Everything inside the parentheses, the reason the parentheses is there to show that everything inside there is the base. So the base is negative 2. I'm going to show it's going to be negative 2. And I'll put that in parentheses. Times negative 2 times negative 2. That would be the expanded form, or the expanded form for writing it. Now, in order for me to find out what the answer is going to be when I evaluate it, let's first start with the negatives. Okay, let's do it. It's a negative. Now, I have a negative times a negative. A negative times a negative will make a positive. Right? So far, or we could do is negative 2 times negative 2. That will give me a positive 4. So now I have a positive 4 times a negative 2. And a positive 4 times a negative 2, a positive times a negative is going to give me a negative, and 4 times 2 is 8. So when I evaluate it, I'm going to get negative 8 for this one. Okay, that's the basic understanding of exponents. When we have exponents with fractions and we have exponents with a negative integer. Please check out the video that I make for you having examples so you could try them yourself and see if you're understanding. All right, talk to you soon. Have a good one and keep doing math.